Hello everyone, hope you're having a good week. Hold on, we're looking at the wrong one. There we go. Oh, okay, so there we are. I don't know why it did that, but we're here. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. Let me pull this out because that's got the chat in it. I don't know why it changes that sometimes. It's so picky. So picky. Alright, hopefully everyone can hear me. Everyone's having a nice Friday. It's deadline and it has been, let's just call it a difficult week for a lot of people. I'm going to move some of these things. Oh, okay. Just sit over here, please. There we go. Hey Neil, how's it going? Hey Mitch, sidekick, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're doing well. Just had some issues with OBS. Just, oh my god, can you just drag and drop over here, please? Why is it so difficult? And then put me Twitter over there as well. Finally, there we go, there we go, there we go. Alright, so it has been not the easiest of weeks for everybody. Fortunately, I think we've got away with it. At the moment, on live rank, before the Watford and West Ham game, I'm currently on 54 points because Raul, the Mexican marksman Jiminez, the man who I stuck with, I knew he'd cut. You can't go against Raul. Well, he gets 5 bonus in 2 games. What a beautiful goal, by the way, against Burnley. An absolute bolt from the blue there. And you can see he's going to come on for KDB. So got a little bit lucky there, to be honest. The fact that KDB has got no minutes under his belt. But even though Sterling got 45 minutes, disappointing. Phil Foden got 90, disappointing. I know a lot of people out there will be having pretty terrible game weeks. Just don't let it get to you this week because everyone is. It reminds me, I think it was like game week 2 of the season or game week 3 or something when everyone had an awful game week. It's just like that. The average right now is 35. And it's not like the top 10k are killing it as well. In fact, I'll just bring up the stat for that one. So right now, the top 10k have an average of 48.33, so 48 points. The general average is 36 points. So it's not like, you know, the top 10k is what we want to compare to, but it didn't go well, and it didn't go well for everyone. So if you're going to have a bad week, it's good to have that when everyone else is having a bad week. So I know that earlier Saiton had said he's gone up 350k. It's a great week to go up, but if you didn't have a particularly good game week, it's a good week to not have that. So, and if, let's say Antonio bangs today, guys, yes, you're going to see a lot of chatter all over Twitter, on people's YouTube videos going, oh, Antonio, we, on this channel, we love Antonio. He's not in our team, but we still love him very dearly. And just remember that he's not that highly owned. He isn't. It's something like 3.5% owned Antonio. Exactly 3.5% own Antonio. So let's say he randomly scores another hat trick. Don't go thinking, oh God, you know, because I see it all over Twitter. This is a nightmare. I'm going to quit FPL. Just take the good with the bad, guys. It's as simple as that, you know. Try not to let it get to you. Discussion points. We like to open with knowing what you guys are doing with your points this week. So I'm on 54 all out. Oh, guys, the green arrows are still going strong. We're still hanging on here. So if we just cancel, you know, game week 30 to game week 38, because that was like the coronavirus time, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 green arrows. And if this one is currently red, it's currently red, but that's just because Jiminez hasn't come on. If we can get that, that's going to be 14 green arrows, guys. Hey, Mr. Jolly, how's the fishing going? Are you catching any fish. I was going to try and name a fish, but like trout or cod or salmon, but you probably can't catch them where you are. So we're looking, I think, what, 13 or 14 green arrows, not including coronavirus time. It's been a wonderful comeback. And even if we get a red arrow, so what? We've done really well. It's been an interesting season, and we go again. And in my mini league, it's a dream, guys. I was nowhere near the top of my friend's Taiwan mini league, and look at that, 4 points clear, and it's not even updated yet. Unbelievable comeback. I was like in 5th or 6th place. Some people like to win the overalls. Some people like to win the mini leagues. Some people just want to get the highest score for the game week, right? However you play it, show away. But it's definitely to beat your friends always feels like it's a good one, right? So one talking point that I did point out on my Twitter earlier today, and I'm interested to know what you guys think about it. So I literally just tweeted out saying, whenever you see or hear some FPL advice or stats, please double check it for yourself. That includes the content that I create. Sometimes people will find stats to fit their agendas and predictions to make themselves look better. For next season, I'm going to be pure stats. So that is something that I'm going to talk to you guys about, that for next season, I personally, for my team, are going to be focusing and studying more stat-based decisions. Now, when we're in the stream and when I'm doing my videos, I'd love to also talk about football and, you know, who was doing good, who was doing bad. But for my own personal decisions and for the stats that I'll give you guys, I'm going to try and be as impartial as possible, because that's why I'm saying even check my stats, because maybe other content creators have admitted this, or they've not admitted it, but I'm telling you now that you do put stats out there that fit your agenda. You do, because you're trying to win an argument against no one. No one's arguing against you, but you're trying to prove. So, for example, if I say something like, Robertson's been a great pick, and I'm going to tell you that he got 6 points against Arsenal, 9 points against Burnley, and he got 5 points. So he's actually got 5, 5, 9, 6. And a lot of people were poo-pooing him all over the internet, right? But if I was to try and sell him to you, and I would just say about that points, and I'll say, okay, he's had 3 crosses, and he's good for clean sheets. But then I wouldn't tell you necessarily that whatever team he was coming against was strong down their right-hand side. Or I wouldn't tell you that team was good at corners or set pieces, or something that was weak for him. So just bear in mind, I just felt like I've watched a few videos, and even when I've checked my own stuff, and I've thought, maybe I should have. I studied history by trade, right? And I want to make sure that I need to do two sides of the argument. So I think in the future, when I'm suggesting, okay, these are my top 3 picks for the week, I'm going to try and put it all out on the table and give both sides, because I feel that sometimes I see a lot of content out there and they do omit or highlight certain stats that aren't actually important, because it makes their selection look better and it makes them look smarter, basically. So let me just catch up with the chat. Neil, it'll be 69 all out. That's actually really, but that includes triple captain Alonso. But look, Neil, at the end of the day, right? Alonso got what, a clean sheet? What was Alonso's point? I know he didn't get any bonus, right? Because as Aspilicueta, we were doing a free hit team last week, right? And I was like, Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta got 9, yeah. So Alonso I think got 6, right? Or 7. Okay, he got 1 bonus. Look, he got 7 points times 3. That genuinely isn't too bad for a triple captain. When you have a look at people who did it this week for Sterling, the whole Mane double game week situation, right? So 69 in this game week is still what? It's going to be 20 points better than everybody else. Top 10k better. That probably 25 better than the general public. David Silva for KDB, good move. And triple captain him. Nice. Plus you've got Jesus, Marshall, Bruno, Pulisic, Doherty, Ings with returns. The Silva punt was a great one. Absolutely fantastic, that sighting. That's a really, really good punt. And I'll say the advice I said on the video for this game week, and I'll say the advice I said last week, and I'll say the advice today. Right, so game week 37, guys, if you can save your transfer, or at least try to go into the final game week with 2 free transfers. They all kick off at the same time. So I've got 3 City players. So if I find out that Sterling doesn't start, I want 3 Manchester City players against Norwich, right? They have the easiest fixture for the last game. So if there's one piece of advice I'm really hoping people will try and follow. Of course, if you need to make the transfers this week, then do it. But I'm not taking any hits. I'm happy with the team that I've got now. And if you can just go in with 2 free transfers and, you know, say Salah doesn't play, Sterling doesn't play, but Mane plays, right? And then you can go from Sterling to Mane, yeah? And then move that money somewhere else. That's going to be my thing. Yeah, and I always want to do opinions. That's I always want to hear your opinions, and I always like to give mine as well. So, but I just think personally next year, this is like the first season I've really. So last year I made some content with FPL, but it was like I was just doing crazy hits and I was just chatting about football, but I wasn't really focused on FPL. This was a season where I'm like, right, I'm going to look at some stats. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But next season, when I'm doing my own team stuff, as much as it's going to pain me, as much as I'm going to be fighting my own heart and my own gut, I'm going to go like almost pure stats. Unless there's something in the eye test that says, okay, his XG is quite high, but you know he's rubbish or something like that. Like that's the only reason. In fact, no, even then I'm not going to do it. It's going pure, fully in depth into stats next year, guys. I've been reading up all about it, and I still don't understand it. So I've got this summer to figure out what the hell all of these graphs mean, and all of these formulas and things like that. I swear I used to be smarter than what I am now. Could I sell you Robertson over TAA today? Right, of course, Neil. So first of all, he's the Scottish captain. He's got that determination, grit, and experience in his locker. So first, that's 1 point for Robertson. 2, form. Look at this. TAA 0, 1, 2, 6. Look at Robbo. Got 6, 9, 5, 5, and then 0, 5, and then 9. What a player. He goes down the left. For me, he's definitely. And he's taking corners. I think he took a corner. That's how he got an assist, isn't it? So yes. Saving this week. Only 1 spot on the bench is lost to a red flag. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Sean, my FPL twin. You like my evil twin, Sean, because once I go one way, you go the other, and you get the points. And it kills me every time. Jolly, 61. Play the free hit. And again, if you play any chip and it gets you like 25 points better off than you would, or better off than the rest of the game, then it's a chip well played, right? What to do of the double Liverpool defence, because I don't see them keeping a clean sheet against Chelsea, and Trent VVD have blanked for 3 games. So Sighton, I've got 2 Liverpool defenders. What are you trying to say, buddy? I'm sticking with him. I'm not making any defensive transfers. I'm just not. I think they'll play because Liverpool have the longest gap. And please remember, and you know this, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are the exceptions to the rules, where you can look at these defenders and you can hope for attacking returns. People might say the same about Doherty. People might say the same about Aurier, stuff like that. But Trent and Robbo are a league above everyone else. So the fact that could they concede a goal to Giroud or Pulisic? Yeah. But I'm also playing the rank game, right? A lot of people have got in Pulisic. A lot of people have now got Willian. If my 2 lads can stop him and get a clean sheet, that's a rank riser right there. But we've seen that Liverpool conceded goals, right? And Robertson's got assists. Trent scored from free kicks. So if they can concede a goal but get an assist, which they're more than capable of doing, then they'll do it. And I see Chelsea conceding goals. And Robertson actually genuinely looked pretty good in the last game. The assist to Mane was excellent. So, Yeah, I'm keeping with. I'm not taking a transfer hit. Oh, I'm not using a transfer to take out a defender. Not for that quality. Mahrez and Mane or Sterling and Pulisic? Mahrez and Mane. And I'm just thinking the last 2 game weeks. But again, random, if that is like taking up a transfer or taking up 2 transfers, I just wouldn't do it. I just really, really think that if you've got no chips left, the best thing you can do is go into game week 38 with 2 free transfers and just refresh Twitter and Reddit before the deadline. Because, if I'm sat here and De Bruyne doesn't play, okay, goodbye De Bruyne, hello Salah, and then I'll take another transfer like Jiminez, who's against Chelsea, might take Jiminez out and put in a cheaper striker, or a nothing striker, or take out Foden and put in a nothing midfielder, right, and put it on the bench. You're bench boosting this week, and you've already dropped Lascelles for Egan. Gonna wait for early team use for J-Rod and Taylor. Hopefully end up. Yeah, so you're trying. So Sean, my only thing for that is if you didn't bench boost this week and you saved up your transfers, you could go into game week 38 with 2 free transfers and a bench boost. Because if you use a bench boost this week, you will go into game week 38 with 0 transfers. One free transfer, not 0. So unless you've got a wicked already made game week 38 team, you're playing your hand now. Liverpool won't make the same mistakes again. Well, I hope not. I've got 2 of the players in my bloody team for a -4 though. So again, have I taken any hits since the restart? So I'm gonna, over the summer, guys, I'm going to make a full advice video, like my top 10 suggestions for the coming season. And I've done a lot of looking online and a lot of my own thinking and a lot of reflection, because you guys know I've been right at the bottom at 2 million and I've gone pretty well up to about 160k. And I've learnt a lot. Like, I'm not trying to blow my own horn here. I don't think I've gone from 2 million to 160k on pure luck. I've not got 13 to 14 green arrows on pure luck. So I'll be making that video over the summer. And one of them is going to one of the pieces of advice I think is going to be, people take hits. I get it, but I'm going to take less hits, because you'll see some very popular people on Twitter or on YouTube videos that take crazy hits and get. So I think we all know here, Late Riser, he's a very excellent fantasy football manager, and he just knows how to go from like one big hitter to another big hitter, takes a -4 but gets 20 odd points back. For me, I don't know how sustainable that is, but he's just an exception to the rule. If you look at actually the top players that play this game, they don't take hits. So FPL Swede on Twitter has done a couple of good threads about top players, and I think he's called Too Good FPL. I think he's currently 3rd or 4th in the world, and Magnus Carlsen, and I can't remember the guy who was number 1. I want to say something like Joshua or something like that. But the thing that they have in common is they take 3 or 4 hits a season, whereas if you're taking a -4 now, they ain't gonna make that up unless they have one blinding game week. And also, I'm going to take less 1 week punts. TM is transfers made, right? Oh, I lie. I think of transfer cost, right? Is that transfer cost? Yeah. So I have taken hits earlier on, but those players are still in my team now. Let me just catch up with the chat. Free hit game week 38, random, completely agree. Hang on, let me scroll up. I missed a little bit there. Allison and VVD won't make a mistake again in 2020. It was rare that Van Dijk made a mistake, I must admit. Play next year purely on stats. Oh, I couldn't. He played pretty much on the eye test and fixtures and form. But form will bleed into the stats, right? That's the idea, because XG and XA is taken from a 5 to 10 week game sample on form, right? So you're not going to have the player that you watch who is absolutely... So in short, right, if you have a look at the pitch here, XG, imagine a D shape around the box, right? So if a player is inside the D and takes a shot, it's a higher value than if a player is, say, on the wing and takes a shot. So if you're looking at stats and you're looking at a player who, you know, you're saying, oh, you want to choose people in form, and I'm going to say, well, I'm choosing people with high XG and high XA, they will look like people in form because they will be the ones who are taking shots inside this danger area, right? So you're not going to have a player that, oh, he looked terrible, he's done nothing, he's rubbish, and then his XG and XA is going to be like really, really high, because that just wouldn't make sense. So Junkie Game Week 38 free hit is fantastic. That's a great move. I just used mine in the double game week. It actually worked out, so I'm still happy I made that decision, getting all those double game week players. But if I didn't use it, I would have used it in 38. You'd go Mahrez and Mane over Sterling Pooler. Yep, I would do that as well. A better chance of getting 15 out of in the 38 than 37. Yep, because you'll get the other team use. Your bench is really suited for this week though. McCarthy, Jay Rodriguez, Egan. But you've just said, aren't you going to take a -4 for it? So you're already going to take out almost a clean sheet by taking a -4. And then are you going to play those Burnley players next week? You're going to play those Burnley players against Brighton at home? I guess you could. I've seen a lot of people moving on Chris Wood, right? Personally, not for me. I'm happy with Jiminez, Ings and Greenwood. But just, if you've got 2 free transfers, then yeah, but you've just got to go into two free transfers into the last game week, in my opinion. Good call on keeper and Burnley. Yeah, Pope. I don't know why people went to Foster. I really don't. I mean, isn't he currently #1 for the Golden Glove? What a player, what a man. And he could have got so much more against Liverpool if he didn't get booked in the last minute. It'd have been on like 7 or 8 points. And then Twitter would have exploded with the hatred for the Pope. Need to remember that City and United both played before the deadline and played the semi-final for the league. Before the deadline? Oh, you mean FA Cup? Yeah, because the deadline is, for me, it's Saturday night. For you, it's Saturday afternoon because Norwich play. I still think they're going to play. Like, you need to put... The FA Cup is second. I don't care what the manager says, right? The FA Cup is behind the Champions League race, right? There is no way Manchester United are going to rotate out players against West Ham and Leicester in the last two games to sacrifice Champions League for the FA Cup. They're just not. You can love the FA Cup, you can romanticize about it, but there is no way Manchester United are going to... If anything, the likes of Greenwood and Fernandes are going to get a rest in the FA Cup and they'll play in the league. Because it's just economics. It's an economic decision, right? And you want top players at your club. Oh, we won the FA Cup last season, or we were in the Champions League. You know, what's going to attract people? First season FPL, I'm going to finish top 250k. I'm absolutely over the moon. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people just say, like, people see my rank of like 160, 170. I think it's actually 150 right now. And they're like, oh, that's terrible. But this has been a big season for a lot of people. A lot of things have changed this season. A lot of people have done badly who are managers with amazing track records, like consistently top 50k, and this year they're like 500k. So as long as you've got your own ideas, and do it. Yeah, 2 good FPLs on YouTube recently, right? Definitely one to watch. I mean, he's 3rd in the world, so he must have some good ideas. Taking a hit for the bench people is really hard to recruit. Yep, Neil, that's what I said earlier. Joshua Bull, is that his name? But I also saw, it's a Portuguese guy, and it was on the Fantasy Football Scout. It was a Fantasy Football Scout interview. So talk about top players. So in the advice that I'll give in the video that I'll make over the summer, about like taking less hits. Yes, there are some big players out there who can roll the dice and take huge hits and get huge rewards. Not always, right? You only hear about it when they take a -8 and score 50 points off it, but you don't hear about the time to take -4s and the player comes in and does nothing, right? That just doesn't often happen. I can't find the guy's name, but again, he's a top FPL manager. In fact, I think he would be #1 in the world if he'd done more seasons. He's Portuguese, so if you know the name, put it in the chat. But that is another player that just does not agree with taking hits. So I don't want to put you off too much, Sean, but I just think like a -4, unless it's like a humdinger of a player that's definitely going to... So if Pep, which he never ever would in a million years, came out and said Raheem Sterling will play 90 minutes in the last 2 Premier League games, and you want to take a -4 for that and say -2 this week, -2 the next week, then fine. But I just don't think that is going to happen. So virtually no hits this year, but taking 1 this week. And what a time to take it, Sean. If I go on stats, would Vardy been in your team for his streak? That is your worry. Now, the thing with going off stats as well is there's a formula that gets put in about the value of the player as well and how it restrains the rest of your team. So Jamie Vardy is like a 9.5 player? 9.8 player. So it would have taken into account not only what he was going to score, but his price and how that would be a detriment to the rest of your team. So if it worked out that bringing Jamie Vardy in meant that I would miss out on Martial or Bruno or Jiminez, then it might have been like, no, don't bring him in. But I haven't got the stats part set up yet. The members part there. Sean, you're a member on the Scout website as well. You've had a look at the stats a few times, but generally just to confirm. Here's the thing, Sean. At the start of the season, I did look at stats a lot, and I used the rate my team thing quite a lot, and then I just stopped, and I don't know why. And then, yeah, I fell, and then I didn't really look at it again, and I rose up, but I've been looking more at it again recently. But I don't know how up to date the algorithm is on that website. And okay, so Sean, you're bringing a good point against stats, the fact that Greenwood is an anomaly. So when I say I'm going to be pure stats, that doesn't mean like I'm not going to have that gut feeling or eye test. So you guys know I can watch like every Premier League game out here. So Greenwood, for his price and the points that he's getting, he's again an exception to the rule, right? But when you're making a transfer decision, that's when it happens. But even stat wise, Greenwood, when did we get him? When he was 4.4 million or something like that. He's now 4.9. At 4.9, it wouldn't have mattered stat wise because you're getting him for his price, and then we got lucky because he's been so good. We've been moving on the Burnley strikers ages ago. Got J-Rod 3 weeks ago. Planning for this week. Did you play him though? Did you get the points? You want Antonio to score tonight against Foster, you don't even own him, but it would be hilarious. A lot of people are getting Foster. But here's the thing. No, not Antonio. Just not Antonio. Let's just say a Watford own goal and a West Ham own goal, and we all go home happy. That's the plan. You're going to start a party Saturday evening, going to be very antisocial from 5:20 to 5:30. That depends if you do it on the deadline day. If you do it on deadline, the final game of the season, ooh, that's not a good one. I'll also ask as well, people, if you can leave a like and maybe subscribe. But in a weird way, I would quite like it if people followed me on Twitter a little bit more. I feel so lonely on Twitter. I put a lot of posts and thoughts into stuff that I put on there, and I like to chat about FPL on Twitter as well during the week, especially when I'm on breaks at work and stuff. So I get some private messages about FPL and about teams and stuff. So if you want to find me on that, it's at RobWD90 on Twitter. It'd be nice to see you guys. Likes and subscribes are always appreciated, but, you know, it's up to you. Only go for a Man City captain. So, random. I always tell people to definitely go and watch other people's videos, go and watch other people's streams, read people's articles, read people's stats. I always say that. That's a great thing about FPL and being an FPL content creator, because as a viewer myself of FPL stuff, I want to go out and get as much as possible. And that's why I commented earlier about saying about checking up on stats and stuff, because I don't really want to name names, but someone had mentioned about Salah not being captained a lot, but that's actually not true. Mo Salah is still the most captain player in the game. Over 1 million people will captain. And yeah, that might be dead teams, but those dead teams aren't necessarily behind you in the ranks, right? So when they're saying like they might not get a rank rise from a Manchester City captaincy, I completely disagree. And unless you are a person close to that top 10k, it doesn't matter what the top 10k does. In fact, I would always say nothing matters what any other player does, because at the end of the day, the goal is simple: to get the most points from your players. So if, let's say we saw a crystal ball and Raheem Sterling was going to get 20 points, you're not going to captain him just because other people are doing it, right? Because you're hamstringing yourself. And just saying like a Man City captaincy is not good. Kevin De Bruyne, okay, maybe not. He's 51% owned and he's got auto captains from dead teams. Fine. But Raheem Sterling is 19.9% owned. Yeah, it'll be heavily captained from that, but it's still only 19.9%. Martial is 21% owned. Even Bruno is now under 30% owned. Bruno was the third most captain player for Game Week 36 plus, but Salah was still the most captain player. So by saying my captain and a City player would not rise up the ranks as much as Salah, that's not right. So to say only go for Man City captain, I would if I could guarantee it. So I didn't captain Sterling this week. I did tweet actually. I wasn't going to captain Raheem Sterling anyway, even if I knew he was playing against Bournemouth. I did actually captain that. I saw the follow. Thanks, Neil. I did actually post that I wasn't going to captain. Oh, God. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone wrong. Just do this, put this on here. So I did actually already say that I wasn't going to captain a Man City player. That was just for Palace, because you can see last 4 game weeks, most shots on target, most big chances, most errors, and errors leading to a goal, 0 clean sheets, 13 set play chances, and they're a holiday team. So that turned out to be a correct decision. But for Watford and Norwich, if you were to tell me, if Pep could just get me on the blower and say, hey, yeah, Rob, like, telling you now, Sterling's playing, then, yeah, I would say captain a Man City player. Hey, Darren, how you going, buddy? We're just chewing the fat on a very difficult game week. So right, and only hearing the smooth hits, never the rough. Exactly, right? You don't see... It's like Antonio, right? People have had Antonio for, say, 5 or 6 weeks. He does nothing. And then he gets 4 goals in a game. Something he's never done before, by the way. Something that no stat, no predicting team would ever say, oh, yeah, Antonio's going to smash 4 goals past Norwich. Even 3 goals. 2 goals is a push for Antonio. But then... giving it the big ones on Twitter. Oh, I knew he was going to do this one. Like, yeah, celebrate it. That's fine. But don't be like... I saw so many accounts, so many saying, should have listened to me. Should have followed my advice. And you know what I do? I sadly click on their Twitter and I scroll down and I look at the other advice that they've given on other game weeks. Or if they've done videos, I'll have a quick check and I'll just be like... because that was the one that they got. Right? You throw enough crap some state. If every week I sat here and I said, Phil Foden is going to get a double-digit haul. I did that every week, right? And then one week comes along, Foden gets a double-digit haul. And I'm like, guys, I told you. Foden was going to get a double-digit haul. You would rightly think I'm an arse. Just next time you see those people on Twitter giving it the big ones, just have a quick check on the profile at the other predictions they've made. And just leave a nice little comment with the little the glasses one. I like that one. That's a good emote, isn't it? All right, let me catch up. Getting 1 point from taking a hit this week. That's the little victories, that, isn't it, Random? The little victories. But then that player that you took a hit for, is that one that you'll use in the future, or are you going to have to bench them? Because then it doesn't feel like it's worth it. Having one free transfer for the last week is okay for me. I have 3.5 million in the bank. It's not the money. It's not the value anymore, Sean, though. It's the players. So, okay, Sterling doesn't play, and I take Sterling out for one player. But then also Kevin De Bruyne doesn't play. I've got to take a hit. And the money doesn't even matter, because I just need the best players to be playing. Why are people so scared of bringing hits if you bring in high impact players? Good question. Torres mentioned this earlier, because I just feel as though the top players rarely take hits, and those big hitters take money away from other parts of the team and don't necessarily get the points. But I just feel as though if you're taking a hit for a player and you're keeping them for 3 to 5 weeks, it might be worth it. For one game week, I disagree. You took out Justin James and Holgate out for O'Connell and Bolly for -4. Bit unlucky. So you took a -4, right? Sheffield got beat 2-0, so that's nothing for O'Connell. Wolves drew 1-1, that's nothing for Bolly. Did Justin play? Justin did play and got a clean sheet, right? And Holgate played just a teeny tiny bit. See, now Kiffin, here's the thing that I'll say, right? So Sheffield United have got I think it's Southampton next week, isn't it? No, Everton. Okay, you're probably looking at a clean sheet there, aren't you? If they're playing Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, you're looking at a clean sheet there. But in the last game week, Sheffield United have got Southampton. So Danny Ings is the threat there. Wolves have got Palace. You could argue a clean sheet there. But then last game week, they've got Chelsea. So for that last game week, unless you're benching both of your new signings, I'd question it. Tempted to captain KD this week. He's surely due a haul. That's dangerous, dangerous thinking there. Dangerous thinking, that, Sean. That is not one I agree with. He's due a haul because he hasn't done it. I don't think it works like that. That's close to saying, oh, I feel it in my waters. I feel it in my bones he's going to get a haul. Is he going to play? Because it's the same thing. They're opposite to Manchester United, right? Manchester United care about the Premier League. They need top 4. Man City have got the FA Cup and they've got the Champions League. They don't care about the Premier League because they're already second, right? So, is he going to play? Who knows? Is Wood the best Burnley attacking asset? As I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are bringing in Chris Wood for this game week. I'm not against it. I just feel... So part of the thing that comes with the stats is the fitness, right? He did have quite a long injury. I know he's back now. Nothing attracts me about Burnley attacking assets. Nothing at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. What a lovely penalty. He scored a lovely penalty, right? But when I'm looking at my attack... When you're looking at the attacking slots... I feel like the last 2 game weeks, your movers are going to be in your midfield. So I'm not doing any moves this game week. And then my final game week will probably be bringing in Jesus for Jiminez and then taking out Foden or De Bruyne or Sterling, whoever isn't playing, right? Or if Jesus doesn't play, I don't bring him in and I just maybe... Who've Leicester got? Man United, no. Aubameyang, right? So let's just say... Kevin De Bruyne isn't going to play in the last game. So he goes out. Jiminez goes out with my 2 free transfers. I cry myself to sleep because I'm actually going to choose Aubameyang, which always works terribly for me. And then I've got 8.6 million. So I'll go to Manchester City. And whoever is playing for Manchester City, Mahrez is 8.6. And then boom. We're golden. If I had a Burnley striker here now, could be wrong. Could be wrong. Chris Wood was fine earlier in the season. Just don't fancy it. Don't have Twitter, but you like your streams. Oh, thanks, Kifian. J-Rod is a doubt. Hopefully we'll get team news. True. Haven't watched a single West Ham game. Are their defence poor? Could Man United go bananas with goals? Yes, Rod Drive. Yes, 100%. But don't think that West Ham can't get goals. But I think statistically West Ham still have like one of the worst defences in the league. And against Manchester United, there isn't a defence right now I think that can stop Manchester United from scoring at least a goal. Haven't watched a single West Ham game, Rodrev. That's interesting. Are you a stats man? We're stats focused today. I'm interested to see people's approaches. Are you stat based? Are you only eye test? Are you gut based? Are you a mixture of everything? What stats do you guys watch? So I like to try and separate junk facts and stats from useful ones, right? So a key one for me that you need to really look at properly is, I always say, touches in the penalty area. Because, for example, Jamie Vardy's touches in the penalty area are very low because he takes a touch and he bangs it in the back of the net, 2 touches. But Mo Salah, a little bit like Messi, is he brings it down, he does a little jiggle and knocks it out and then puts it into top corner. He's got 12 penalty area touches, right? But you've got to separate the player from the penalty area touches. So I'm interested on people's approaches. Sean Dyche was saying that J-Rod's hamstring was sore at half time. And hamstrings can, like when I snapped mine, right, about 3 months ago, hamstrings are notoriously difficult to overcome quickly. Took a -8, including Kevin De Bruyne to David Silva and captain David Silva. That's a big move. But so if you took a -8, right, and you captained him, okay, so fair enough. So David Silva picked up 13 points. So you got 26. So yeah, you've made a good profit. But that's a bold move, right? I think you can agree to that yourself. Like that. That's what we're talking about earlier, Darren, right? So people would make that move and be like, wow, that's like a positive 16 or positive 18 move. What a move. But realistically, taking a -8 and still getting positive 18 points from it is so rare. But you see these things in articles, you see these things on Twitter. Look at me, I took a -12 and I earned 35 points from it. And then you think, whoa, I'm going to take hits as well. I keep saying exception to the rule. Right? You think your hit makes sense though. If Taylor isn't playing, because worst case scenario, the player I get in is only 2. Or, Sean, you can just save the transfer and then go into the final game week with 2 free transfers and a bench boost. So a lot of love. David Silva was a good call. Definitely not against it. I just wasn't going to take a hit to bring in David Silva because I had Jiminez on the bench, which 9 points coming in, worked out. You brought him forward and captained him. Not a bad call. Genuinely not a bad call. He's sat on my bench now because he's just done 90 minutes and I want to play Jiminez, Ings, Greenwood. But he looks so good against Burnley and then he was so good against Liverpool and you're like, you're licking your lips. You just know he's going to start that next game. And oh my God, Phil, what a letdown. He could have scored a bunch. But I know we've all had a tough game week. Let's even take an example. I got 12 points from Bruno, right? He looks a little bit tired, by the way, in my opinion. He looks a little bit leggy. But that could have been a double-digit haul because he had a free chance and he's smashed the post, right? If you've seen the highlights, it gets cut back to him and he puts his head down and he's about, what is he, 8 yards out, 9 yards out, and he absolutely smacks it. Now, if he would have just side-footed it or taken a touch and slotted it in, Bruno, you're looking at 12 points because he got no bonus, right? So you're looking at an extra goal plus probably all the bonus points because he'll have got a goal, an assist and a clean sheet, and then you're looking at 12 going to 24 points. It's just these fine margins this week that have been difficult for everyone. Bench boost, you're thinking, again, bench boost will wipe out your free transfers. I'd just save it for the last week because then you can just, I don't know, I just feel 2 free transfers and a bench boost in the last game week is dreamland territory. You probably end up using your last transfer getting rid of Vardy for a big hitter. Won't mind if one of your City players is dropped because the bench is good. True, but you know that City player will probably come on, so you might want to bench him. Do I think Mahrez will outscore Sterling? No. You're 1 point behind in your mini league and you both have bench boost. It's going to be so tight. That is tight. A point in. I think I'm 4 points now ahead of my mini league. I'm feeling like Pulisic may do similar to Mane. Well, they're playing against each other, so you can just watch one game to find that one out. Roger, if you do eye test and form. Eye test, but you don't watch any West Ham games. Always hunting the next player that suddenly is going to return massively. That's a good way of playing. Can't save your chance there. You've already pulled the trigger. Pre-news conferences, Sean. Pre-news conferences, you pulled the trigger. You're all in for the bet. Mate, I wish you all the luck. I'm hoping that next stream, next week, you rocking, giving it the Vince McMahon shoulders, being like, oh, bench boosted. Egan, 15 points. Lascelles, -5. Own goal and get sent off. Concede 5 goals. Giving it the big ones. All your subs getting like double-digit hauls. You know, don't like bringing players I don't know enough about though. So Roger, so that's interesting because then if you're not watching any West Ham games, the likes of Antonio have gone past you. And earlier in the season, you probably missed out on the likes of Pookie and Cantwell, right? City playing Norwich on the last game of the season. Sounded it could be 9-0. And that's why I'm saving my 2 free transfers, because I've got 3 City players. If those 3 City players play, I'm in dreamland, and I might even do something crazy like Martial out, or Ings out, or Jiminez out, and swap it around. Because it's the last game week and I'll have 2 free transfers. So going into the last game week, my 3 City players play. I'll do Jiminez to Aubameyang, and then I'll smash Doherty down to who's got an easy last game of the season defensively. An Everton defender maybe, or a West Ham defender, or a Sheffield or Southampton defender, or try and get Gomez at Liverpool against Newcastle, or Burnley, a Tarkowski or something. So that's why just 2 free transfers, man. I can't stress it enough. Going into the last game week just feels worth it, unless you need to do something to your team now. Trossard looks very good on the eye test. He does. Yes, he does. But he plays for Brighton, and that is not a team. Against Newcastle, yeah, they probably could. And then last game of the season against Burnley. Burnley away is just not a fixture that screams goals, right? Every week I sit here and say, Burnley, well, it's got 0-0 written over it. Like, every week it's the same thing, right? That's why I've got Pope in goal. Because it's going to be 0-0 or 1-0, and we all know it. 2 points behind in the mini league. You don't have a free hit. Oh, you have a free hit. He doesn't. Yeah. So that game week 38, man. I really hope we get that team news for you as well as for me, because if we don't get any early team news, oh, could you imagine if we have another situation where it's game week 38, deadline passes, you've got Sterling as captain and Sterling, KDB and Foden are all on the bench, and he's playing like John Bloggs from the reserve team up front. Jesus gets not even put on the bench. We're next week celebrating Egan and Dunn scoring in a J-Rod hat-trick. Alright, so J-Rod, yeah, okay, J-Rod has got Norwich, right? But here's the thing, and this is where the gut feeling comes in, right? I just have this feeling now that Norwich are down, they're going to be alright. They're going to actually just play decent football at home against Burnley in their last home match. Just going out there, don't care, and win like 3-0. I hope not, because I've got Pope in goal. But, just saying. Done. Do you mean dunk? Who's done? You must mean dunk, right? Dunk's going to score off a set piece. There you go. That'll cheer you up. You're playing Lamberty this week over Azpilicueta. Yeah. I don't disagree with that move. In fact, Chelsea assets because I knew I wasn't going to get in for Norwich. I wasn't going to bring any in for the rest of the season because having Liverpool and Wolves the last 2 games, definitely a void for me. What to do with Giroud? Will free hit in 38, so a great game with 37 player would do. Could go up to Rashford or get people like Wood. Could do Alonso and Giroud. So Darren, that way I'd look for a player for 2 game weeks. So yeah, Chris Wood and J-Rod because Burnley have the best 2 fixtures. Or you can't quite go up to Aubameyang. Is there a way you could save it? Because Arsenal have got Villa and they've got Watford in the last 2. And for me, that, as much as I fight about Aubameyang and Arsenal quite a lot because I really don't rate them, you can't argue. Aubameyang going for the golden boot against Aston Villa. And, God, I've forgotten already. And Watford in the last 2 game weeks. And he's just had a rest. If you can if you can get to Aubameyang for the last 2 game weeks, that's pretty good. But if you're free hitting, it doesn't matter because you can bring in on your free hit. All the players close to goal boot are nearly guaranteed to start the last game. You think that, but they didn't start. Aubameyang didn't start against Arsenal, against Liverpool. You sold Kane this week while keeping Orba, who got benched. Oh, there you go, Darren. You've already got Aubameyang. Beautiful. So you don't need to bring him in. You might save 2 free transfers this week. Only got KDB and Foden, but it's too hard to predict. Yep, agree, Matt. I've said it the whole stream. Keep those 2 free transfers. FPL Rockstar said he's not doing it. FPL Scar, I agree. FPL Scarface seems legit, genuinely. And is it Samuel Martin, another guy on Twitter, has even said as well, yeah, FPL Scarface is legit. I also thought Aubameyang was going to play, if I'm honest. I think he will do the last 2. And yeah, Sean, I think he's ready for the FA Cup as well because Arsenal haven't got anything to play for. And they can get into Europe if they win the FA Cup. Let's not forget, Arsenal aren't even in a European place right now. So winning the FA Cup still gets them into the Europa League. Antonio went under your radar, a lot of spare time at the start of the season. So you did used to watch all the other games. That's a nice rank. 18k, that's a great rank, mate. Good luck for the rest of the season. Don't know why, but your gut is telling me to get Sterling and Pulisic over Mahrez and Mane. Go with your gut then, Random. Go with your gut, mate. You're down to 88k. Yeah, it just happens. It just happens, Sean. I won't worry too much about it. As it stands, this is how I'm looking for Game Week 38 anyway. Pope, of course, is in between the sticks. It's the same back 4. It always is. In fact, since Project Restart, I think this has been my back 4. And then the midfield, De Bruyne, Sterling, Martial. We're going with a 3-4-3 this week, guys. Bruno as the captain. And then Jiminez, Danny Ings, and Greenwood with Foden first sub. Holgate has got a knock. Shin injury. Hopefully he'll come back just so I don't have to worry about not having a full team. Because I was worried this game week I wasn't going to have a full team. Fortunately, Greenwood pulled through. Even though it's 2 points, 2 points is better than 0, right? So I am looking at a Fernandes captaincy at the minute. Unless I get some news that Sterling is going to play, I'm not risking it. It's too much of a risk. It's double points, right? Sometimes captaincy options or picks go under the radar, but it's literally double points, right? A 10 goes to a 20, for God's sake. So if Bruno gets bonus and an assist, and, you know, he's getting 18 points as a captain. Sterling doesn't play, and he gets me nothing. Or he plays 2 minutes, and he gets me 1 point doubled to 2. 50k, 64 points. It's really good. Yeah, go for that goal. Maybe it will work, buddy. Should you get someone like Wood or Ings, or go up to Kane, who loves playing against Leicester? Or go... So it's just a 1 week... You're looking for a 1 week punt, Darren, because you're gonna do it. Captain Martial, I'll thank you later. He does love home games. I would be lying if I said I wasn't tempted. He's in beautiful form right now. I just like the safety of Fernandes because he takes the set pieces as well. But Martial is a fantastic captaincy option. But 21%, 29%, there's not a lot in it. And Martial does have a tendency to infamously go missing sometimes. Bruno just doesn't. Bruno has blanked twice in his entire Manchester United career. Your dad's top finish is 6k. Wow. No, in his face. He's all the way down. 750k. He's terrible. No, I'm joking. I've been there. I've been almost triple that rank earlier this season. Martial, Bruno, KDB and Sterling are your captain options. Yep. They are also my captaincy options. I'm also would suggest would stick in the vice captaincy on another team. Like, a lot of people got burnt this week, right, by putting the captaincy on Sterling and the vice captaincy on Kevin De Bruyne and vice versa. I wouldn't do that. Currently 12k, Tom. So great. What a great opening FPL career start, that, buddy. Excellent stuff. I'm going to end on that note, guys. I'm going to go over to Twitch and carry on with my Football Manager save. We're in Season 7. We're at Manchester United now. Surprisingly, we took Feyenoord as far as we could take them. And then Man United came knocking. We gutted the squad. And we are currently 4 games in. And we've played Chelsea. We beat them. Played Arsenal. We beat them. We drew away at City. And we beat Brighton. So we're actually having a really good start to our Football Manager career. So we're jumping over to Twitch to do that very, very soon. Twitch.tv/RobWD. So if you like some Football Manager stuff, talking tactics and football, we do that over there as well. Good luck to everyone for this game week 37. I'll be happy when I can get some more videos out, because at the minute, with the fact that we're having so many games every week, I can't do the videos that I really want to. But hopefully now, though, between 37 and 38, there might be 2 videos coming up for you on the channel. So please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. That would be fantastic. I hope everyone does really well. Maybe I'll see you on Twitch doing my Football Manager save. That'd be great as well. Take care, guys. Hopefully you all have a good one. And I'll catch you soon. Pulisic or Foden bench? Good question. Foden bench. KDB or Martial captain? Martial captain. And thanks, Tom. Good luck. Good luck, everyone. Hopefully have a good weekend. See you in the videos next week, and I'll see you next Friday for the live stream. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.